the the origin, the genesis of European thought. When I talk about European, I talk about Western thinking process model, Euro-American thought thinking process, was ideological from the get-go, from the beginning. And because they metaform the collective unconscious, the European collective unconscious was already a fertile ground, was already prime, or already prepared for that kind of ideology. So therefore, it's like when you're hungry, your whole system, your whole body is ready to eat. So the whole system is already primed to have food. So once you have that food, it's only natural that it's going to fill you up because the body was biologically requiring it. So that is what she's trying to say here. So the whole psyche, the whole cosmogony, Western cosmogony, was already shaped, molded in the sense of creating a kind of ideology that is confrontational, oppositional, with the aim and the goal of controlling and acquiring the power that comes with the control. So it was so everything that unfolds from there becomes our culture. Everything that unfolds from there is that the culture now that represents a certain way of being and a certain way of doing. But the thing is, don't try to listen to understand it literally or simplistically though. Culture shapes a person, but culture doesn't spring out of ex nihilo, out of the blue. Culture is created by persons. So if personality creates culture, that means personality also shapes and influences culture. Therefore, culture, by the same token, will shape and influence the person, and it becomes a vicious circle. That's why it's very complex. It's not simple. So before it becomes culture, it has to be conceived, designed, and planned and implemented. That is why when Plato started developing that whole Western thinking process, model, and system, it has been carefully slipped into the educational system of that culture, so that insidiously, so that very, very seamlessly, naturally, it penetrates the psyche of the generation to come, and then it becomes a reality that nobody questions. It becomes something that has always been. It becomes our culture. This is who we are. That's how we do things. It becomes tradition. So that's what when she said that sentence that the last one, thus with their introduction, we have properly politicized the idea of culture by giving it an ideological focus. So she's trying to tell you here that culture, by its very essence and nature, is not positive, negative, or ideological or anything like that. Culture is just supposed to be the way people do things. You know, you have African cultures, and we have a way we do things. You have European culture, you have Asian cultures. Culture is just some kind of neutral, natural way of being and existing that the Asili requires. You know, we share something in common through our Asili, right? But by designer, we can give a certain tone to it. We can give a certain flavor to it. We can give a certain direction to it. We can give a certain taste to it. And that is where culture begins an ideology. And that is where culture becomes politicized. That is where, because I can do this, because my culture is such a way that this is how I think, this is what I consider to be the truth, this is how what I consider to be the right way of doing things, and because you do not do it like me, therefore your ways are primitive, your ways are inferior. If we compare the two ways that we're thinking, the two ways that we define humanity, human being, the cosmos, the universe, based on my achievements, technological, scientific, and otherwise, and educational and all that, I can now stand on my high horses and tell you that your culture or your way of thinking is inferior to mine. Then, if I adopt that stance, I politicize culture. I idealize culture. It becomes an ideology. It becomes that mine is better than yours. Therefore, you have to follow mine if you want to be like me. That is what she's saying here. That culture has been politicized and idealized. But that at the essence, that's not what culture is supposed to be.